the Bog Garden, end of May 2021. So a little bit of an update. I've got some things flowering right now and a couple of surprises in my bog garden. So to recap, this bog garden was built in the fall of 2019 and planted up with a variety of plants in 2020. So this is its first spring with everything in place. So here we have in the front some Watergmravalli, and it has a very interesting flower. It's related to prairie smoke, and you can see that similarity in the way the flowers hang down. And the seed heads, although not as showy, do resemble the prairie smoke with the little fuzzy caps. Quite a lovely little plant. The brownish colored flowers make it a little bit less showy than some, but I like it nonetheless. Over in this corner I've got some swamp milkweed, which last year was the savior of all my other milkweeds because I could transfer monarch caterpillars to these. These flourished here in the moist soil, and they are doing quite well again this year. And I can see, if I can show you, down in here, I need a third hand to make it focus. There we go. We have flower blossoms starting to form in some of them already. Oh, in fact, as I stand above and look down, most of them have flowers starting to form. Should be quite lovely. This is Riddells Golden Rod that's in the front, this grass-like plant. This is my second time growing this, and last year this one did not flower, but neither did the other patch I have in drier soil in its first year. So it needs a year to get established, it seems, so maybe this year I'll have some nice flowers. This will get about 3 or 4 feet tall, at least it does in the other spot. I'm not sure how it's going to look in this more moist soil. And back in here I've got some southern blue flag iris, which is Iris virginica. I have yet to see it flower, and my Iris versicolor, or blue flag, is in flower in another location in the garden already, so I'm not sure when this one is going to bloom. In the front here, or in the center actually, I have Bristle Sedge, Carex comosa. This is becoming a little overwhelming. It might be a little too big for this tiny garden. It has a very Timothy grass-like inflorescence that you can see here, and that makes it very different from most sedges that I've seen. One of the surprises was in this back corner I planted what was supposed to be hop sedge, Carex lupiliformis, but in fact it's got exactly the same inflorescences that the Bristle Sedge has. So somebody at the source where I bought it mislabeled it, and since I already have one overpowering the garden, I may need to find a new home for this one. In the back I have some cardinal flower, which is taking its time to grow, but it is in the other locations as well. But in the middle here, a friend gave me some blue Vervain, which is Verbena testata, I believe, and it is doing quite well. It's already well above my knees in height, almost up to my waist, and so it should be quite glorious in a few weeks' time. The other piece here that I am absolutely loving is my showy lady slipper orchid. I bought these from a gentleman who breeds orchids, and this has a third blossom coming under here. Hard to see from this angle. There it is. Beautiful plant. Cypripedium reginae. I planted these marsh ferns around it because the grower suggested that they would keep the roots cool, and obviously he was right. There's a second plant here that is coming up, but no sign of buds on it, at least yet. I am so thrilled beyond expression for these flowers. They are really quite magnificent, and I could just look at them all day. Anyway, down in the front, my second attempt to grow dwarf lake iris, which is native up around the Bruce Peninsula in sandy areas. And this is much more successful than my first attempt, which I actually tried to grow along the edge of the waterfalls, but it's doing well here. My monkey flower, which is Mimulus ringens, no sign of flowers and blossoms in it yet. We'll see. It flowered last year, but I'm not entirely sure when that happened. I thought it was earlier, but maybe not. Over in the back corner, we have, at the base of the waterfalls, I have some Marsh Marigolds, Caltha palustris, and they are nicely gone to seed, and to me it looks a lot like a jester's hat, the seed pods. So I'm hoping I can collect some of those seeds this year. And then, better not fall into the garden. And in the front, I have a Joe Pye weed. And this is a volunteer. Have no idea where the seed came from, but last year it had some flowers. This year it's quite a bit bigger. I expect it to get fairly tall. And then this little plant here, which I haven't bothered to identify yet, this one, and it's a volunteer as well. I guess when the flowers come out, we'll see. And other than that, I've got some goldenrods. Back here is Ohio goldenrod with the very wide leaves. And over on that corner, not doing nearly as well this year as it did last year, I have Bog Goldenrod. So it's kind of got an intermediate leaf. And that, my friends, is a tour of the bog garden for the end of May in 2021. Oh, I have to go take another look at this. It's just too lovely for words. Hope you enjoyed it.